Alright, so picture this. A 36-hour game jam, barely any sleep, way too much caffeine, and me staring at my screen trying to make sense of whatever spaghetti code I just wrote. This, my friends, is Gridnition, a game about lighting fireplaces, running out of energy, and sliding uncontrollably on ice like a confused penguin. I made it in a game jam called Devstart Jam, where the theme was Ignition. It was supposed to be a nice, simple, chill little puzzle game, but as usual, I made it a lot more complicated than it had any reason to be. Oh, and my fiancé made the art, which means it actually looks a lot better than my projects usually do. I had this idea floating around for a while. It was just sitting there in my brain, collecting dust, waiting for me to finally get to work on a different video idea. The basic concept? A grid-based puzzle game where you light up fireplaces or lamps, but every step you take drains your energy. It was simple, it fit the theme, it made sense, so I just got to work. Now, in my last game jam, I broke every single rule of game development by starting with the art first. You should never do that. You should always start with the code mechanics. You should always start with the core mechanics. This time I actually behaved like a proper game developer and began with just placeholder art. I started coding the basics first, just like the game dev gods intended. And at first things were going great. I had WASD movement going on, the energy draining system, and fireplaces lit up when you stepped on them. It felt like I was making actual progress. Like, wow, maybe this time I actually know what I'm doing, but no. Then I ran into a small problem. See, without any obstacles, the game was just walk in a straight line until you win. And I don't know about you, but that doesn't exactly scream riveting gameplay to me. It was at this moment that I realized I needed actual mechanics to make the game interesting. Now, let's think logically. The theme is ignition. What does fire make you think of? Elements. What other element is there? Water. What does water make? Ice. Does this make any sense? Absolutely not. Do I care? Also absolutely not. So I did the only logical thing I could do. I added ice blocks that make you slide uncontrollably until you hit something, because if there is something that players love the most, it's losing control of their character. And hey, what would make a game even more fun? Achievements! So I just added those too. You can get an efficient completion achievement if you use the maximum amount of moves possible for all of my overthinkers out there, or the minimum achievement if you complete the level in the least moves possible for all of my speedrunners. Gotta reward both ends of the spectrum, right? And since we're talking about spectrums, let's talk about the affiliate of this video, Unity Asset Store. They offer a really wide spectrum of different game assets created to your... not right now. And since we are talking about spectrums, let's talk about this video's affiliate, Unity Asset Store, offering a really wide spectrum of different game assets curated for your game development journey. They have a huge discount going on right now. If you want to support me and yourself during your game development journey, use the link in the description below to access the store. Now, do you remember how I said the frozen tiles make you slide until you hit something? Well, sometimes you would just keep sliding forever, straight off the map, into the void, into the afterlife. Oopsies. And then there was a fun little bug where fireplaces just wouldn't light up if you step on them too fast, like, nah bro, I'm still cold, just try again. Imagine a fireplace having the audacity to refuse to be lit. I almost gave it a speed bubble that just said, no, f*** you. By the way, you should beep up any swear words. Beep out any swear words or something. Or make a quack sound, I don't know. At this point, the game was actually shaping up to be a real puzzle experience, which honestly was great. Except for only one tiny issue. I had 0 levels. Here's a tiny little secret, promise to not tell anyone. I have absolutely no structured process for level design. Some developers sketch layouts on paper, some carefully craft progression curves. Me, I just slap on some tiles down, run through it a few times and hope for the best. Honestly, at this point my entire life philosophy is to just trial and error, but mostly error. And somehow it actually worked. Some levels ended up surprisingly well balanced, while others were complete disasters that refused fixing after playtesting. And by playtesting, I mean me running through the levels and getting stuck in my own game. Nothing like accidentally designing a puzzle so difficult that even you cannot solve it. So, with just a few hours left, I had to actually finish the game. So I did what any responsible developer would do. I added a main menu, because apparently games need those. I slapped on some last minute juice into the UI with DoTween, because smooth animations make everything feel 100 times better. Fixed most of the game breaking bugs, probably, maybe, let's pretend I did that. And then somehow, miraculously, the game was done. And guess what? Turns out the final project actually won the game jam. The price? A staggering £10. That's right, I am now a millionaire. Okay, but in all seriousness, I'm really proud of how Gridnition turned out. It's a fun little puzzle game with a solid concept, and I even managed to add some replayability with achievements. If you wanna play it, I'll have a link down below, and if you haven't already, check out On the Wind's Breath, another project of mine, and now, see you in the next one. Bye!